dare you?
No more lies! No more lies!
What are you going to do to restore this country back to what our founders created according to the Constitution?
Sabotage Americans' rights.
I'm not a lobbyist with all kind of money to stuff in your pocket.
Why do you continue to support a Nazi policy, as Obama has expressly supported this policy? Why are you supporting it?
Welcome back to Hardball. Got rowdy crowds, some carrying guns. They're showing up at town meetings all across the country, in all parts of the country, protesting health care reform, and some protesting the way things are going in this country. Are these people mad about health care, or mad about Obama's presidency, or mad about what seems to be the nature of the 21st century? Former Republican House Majority Leader Tom DeLay, by the way, I think you missed the boat, Congressman. The country was turning in your direction. You just missed it. You joined the cast of Dancing with the Stars. We got to talk about that. Who's your partner right now? By the way, let's get some of the scuttle out of the way with you have a partner. Her name, sir?
Her name is Cheryl Burke. I got the best partner one could get. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Cheryl Burke.
I'm impressed. Let me ask you now, she's a professional dancer, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes, even on dance studios.
Well, let me get this set on you. Are you one of those Texas boys, you know, square dancers, the old days, wearing the boots and the tux together and all that stuff?
Black tie and boots, dancing the Texas two-step, polka, waltz. I even took disco lessons once.
Well, let me ask you, can you do the British quick step? That stuff you have to do to all the songs like Cole Porter and Irving Berlin and Gershwin. Do you do that one? That's the hardest one for me to do.
No, I can't do it right now, but I hope to do it. That's one of the reasons I got on here. My wife and I have always wanted to take ballroom dancing. Now they're going to pay me to take ballroom lessons. So this is cool. The only downside, though, I got to show you, Chris. Look at this shoe. A Texan doesn't wear a shoe like this. This is what they're making me wear. It's a little pump with high heels.
You're going to be a little light in that shoe, I think. No more comment. Let's just drop this conversation. Let me ask you about what's going on in the country. You are a man of the right and proudly so. I wonder whether you're even comfortable the way it's headed. We've got people that question whether the president is legitimate or not, whether he was born in the United States or not, and they mean it viscerally. It isn't just something they want to check his papers. They don't think he is.
Right.
Where are you on that one?
Chris, you shouldn't be surprised about this. This has been going on forever. When I did my town hall meetings, I'll never forget one back in the 80s on health care, by the way. They brought in quadriplegics on gurneys and dumped them on the floor in front of my podium. I mean, this is not new. What's new is the people that came in to disrupt my town meetings, we just let them go on because it usually turned off the people that were there. What's happening here is the American people are on their side. And as evidenced by Barney Frank, Barney treated them with arrogance, and that's not what you do. You let them go. But the problem is they're making an impact, and the American people are on their side.
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions where you stand, because I want to, you know, we have some people on who are pretty far right, but they say they're not birthers. They don't question the president's legitimacy. How far do you go these days, Mr. Leader?
Well, I want
Are you over there with the birthers? Are you over there with them? Are you over there with those who think this is a Hitlerian health care plan that woman up in Massachusetts said yesterday? You think it's Hitler-like, what he's doing, the president?
I want the president, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid to keep the federal government out of my health care, period. They have no right.
When you turn 60,
they have no right to do it.
When you turn 65, they're getting into your health care, whether you like it or not. Medicare is a government program.
I want Medicare to be privatized. It shouldn't be a government program. It's the thing that is driving up health care costs. Not that we don't have a public option. It's Medicare, Medicaid, and S-CHIP, the government-run programs that are running up health care costs. That's where the reform ought to be.
So we want to get rid of what's known as Medicare today, HICFA and all that government apparatus, get rid of all that, replace it with private sector health care, with private sector insurance.
I'd do it in a minute.
I didn't say it, I'm suggesting it. But let me ask you this about, you keep skipping over this birther thing. A half dozen members of what was your delegation, in fact, you built that delegation, you built that Republican stronghold down there, are Culberson, people like that, they are birthers. They raise the question of the president's legitimacy. And by the way, the implication they draw is this guy ought to be picked up because he was never naturalized, and therefore he's in the country illegally. Where are you on that one?
Well, I would like the president to produce his birth certificate. Yeah. I can.
Well,
I can. And most illegal aliens here in America can. Why can't the President of the United States produce a birth certificate?
But are you actively seeking that paper? Do you want him to produce? Are you Tom DeLay, with your political and professional and career history in the United States government, questioning this man's bona fides?
No. I'm not questioning.
You're questioning it. You want to see his paper.
Chris, the Constitution of the United States specifically says you have to be a natural-born citizen.
But I never asked you for yours.
Ask me, I'll give it to you.
But has anybody ever said, Mr. DeLay, give me your birth certificate? Of course not, because you got a Texas accent
Chris,
and you seem homegrown.
May I speak, Chris? Chris, can I speak? They have asked me if I'm a resident of Texas. They even sued me about being a resident of Texas. How about that? The Democrats sued me about being a resident of Texas. That's just like asking me for my birth certificate.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. What's the difference?
Mr. DeLay, did anyone ever ask you if you're an American? Did anybody ever ask you if you're an American? Who?
Oh, Democrats have looked through. Are you kidding,
Have they ever asked whether you're an American or not?
Chris, they have spent 15 years trying to demonize me and even put me in jail. Of course they've asked me if I'm an American citizen.
No, let me just tell you something. No, the problem they have with you is not whether you're homegrown or not, because they figure you're definitely homegrown.
Chris,
they got other problems with you. But
why don't you
ask you this.
Chris, will you do me a favor?
You want to see? Sure.
Chris, will you do me a favor? Will you ask the president to show me his gift certificate? I mean, his gift certificate, his birth certificate?
No, I'm not going to ask him, because I don't get to ask him.
Come on.
You want me to go up to the president and say, can I see your papers, sir, like he's an illegal alien? I want to see if he has a right to be in the country or not.
Have you seen it?
Now, here's what I've seen. I've seen the Honolulu newspaper announcing his birth in Hawaii.
Newspaper.
I've seen that.
Newspaper.
What do you think? Do you think they cooked up that newspaper announcement back in 1961? Do you think they cooked it up so that he could someday be president? They cooked it up.
Is a newspaper article an official document?
But do you think they cooked it up?
Wait a minute. Is it a newspaper article an official document?
It's just common sense we're talking about here.
No.
Common sense.
There isn't anybody in America that's been born in America that didn't get a birth certificate at Obama's age. Now, maybe at my age there are people born.
Okay, all I know is they gave us the document that was made available to anybody in Hawaii who asked for a birth certificate. That document they give you. That's all I know. Okay? Let me ask you about this gun thing. You're a gun rights guy. Can it be carried too far? If you were head of the Secret Service, would you let people come into presidential meetings carrying arms?
No.
Would you?
No.
What do you make of these people who think that's a legitimate demand that they're making? To use the Second Amendment and stretch it that far?
Excuse me. That's not a law. That's a security matter. And the Secret Service has every right to take a meeting where the president is and make sure nobody has a gun on them. That has nothing to do with passing a law keeping people from carrying a gun. In fact, I'm really mad because I got indicted. They took my concealed carry weapon license away from me. I think that's a violation of the Second Amendment.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir.
You bet.
It's good to have you on. I don't think I'll ask him for his birth certificate, but...
How about these shoes? I'll give you some shoes.
I think you're going through some changes, sir. Up next, indications that the president may be backing away from the public option. Has liberals fired up? What will they do? What can they do? The Politics Fix is next. This is Hardball, as you can see, only on MSNBC.